Bismillah, Bismillah.
So the first question is, how are you generally treated by other people, whether Muslim or non-Muslims, and can you give some positive and negative examples, please?
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. People generally, I mean, there's no real, people are usually people. Muslims, we tend to have a cultural problem with disabilities though. So what will happen is I'll be at a lecture and someone will ask me if I was born that way. And I'll forget what they mean when they say that, so I'll say something like, do you mean Irish? And then they'll look at me and go, no, with the eye thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was born without my eyesight. And it's almost like I slap them. They'll go, oh, subhanAllah. As if it's a bad thing to be born without a person's eyesight. It's a challenge, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So I tend to get treated, not always differently. Alhamdulillah, I kind of try my best to transcend that, so people tend to forget about my disability a lot. But I can only imagine what a kid would go through. Some interesting stories that I've actually went through with non-Muslims as well. I was getting off of a bus at one point, and a non-Muslim came to me and she yelled at me. She's like, do you need any help? And I honestly thought that she was deaf. So I said, no! Like that. And she jumped away from me. I really thought that she may be deaf. So she's speaking like that because she's deaf. So I have to shout back at her because of that. And she got really quiet afterwards.
Okay.
Some people assume you can't hear. Some Muslims assume that by having a disability you're punished for something. And this is not Islamic, this is cultural. And we should always know that there's a huge difference sometimes. So like I said, I can only imagine what a person would feel like if they had a child who was born with a quote-unquote disability, whether it be without their eyesight or without their hearing or whatnot. It is a huge test, but it's not something that should be avoided. So yeah, generally, culturally, it sometimes is a bit of a battle.
Okay.
Bismillah, 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 Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah.